Welcome to this edition of Live Feed, and I'm joined today with Lisa Marsack, who's our worship pastor here at Bridgewood, and a couple members of our band that plays with us in our weekend services. And today we're talking about music. We're talking about how important music is when it comes to choosing a church today. And, you know, depending on what you're used to or what you've been a part of, you know, music is a big part of what people are looking for in their experience, you know, in relationship with the Lord. So, Lisa, take a minute, would you, and talk to us about what's the music style or the flavor here at Bridgewood Church during one of our weekend services.
Okay. Well, you know, as soon as you walk in, I think one of the first things you're going to realize is that our worship and our music is really exciting. I think it's inviting, and I would definitely define it as passionate. I also think that you will notice our whole band and everything that we do is very engaging. We are 100% in what we're doing. If you were to give it a style, I think that we would call it participatory, just in it to experience all we've got. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I love about it, is that, you know, you can't, it's so contagious that you just can't sit there. Yeah. You know, you just got to be involved. And Anthony, I know that you get a great opportunity, you know, every Wednesday to lead our students here at Bridgewood. And so maybe you can just describe what's it like on a Wednesday night when it comes to music.
Typically a Wednesday night is just really fun, really exciting. And we really challenge the kids to get into God's presence, you know, and to come closer to Him every week. You know, a lot of people would say it's loud, but we just really like to give our all to God and just to do our best for Him every week. So. Yeah,
absolutely. We've got Ivan right here. He's our bass player, and he loves to just rock it out. And it's really important, you know, to create that environment and that atmosphere that you can just really, you know, give it all, you know, to the Lord. So, you know, when you come here to Bridgewood, what you're going to discover is that, you know, it's not just led by one person, but, you know, that we really utilize a band and instruments and all of that. And so what would you say, Tom, to somebody that's maybe coming from a more traditional background, who's walking in and they're not used to seeing, you know, guitars and drums and a lot of instruments? What would you say to a person like that?
That's a good question, because I come from one of those backgrounds, and you walk into a service such as Bridgewood, and it could be startling at first, but you know, but once you give over and you surrender yourself and get involved in the freedom of worship here at Bridgewood, it's amazing how that unlocks the freedom in every other aspect of your spiritual life. And I like to challenge people, you know, when they come here, try it. You know, get the freedom to raise your hands or clap your hands or sing out, whatever it takes, and experience freedom in your worship and watch God use you in other areas of your life also. Yeah,
you know, that's really important, I think, you know, for people to really experience that during our services. And Josh, I know you're really passionate about worship, and, you know, you've even taught on it before. You know, from your perspective, why is it important that we really have a real quality worship experience?
Well, the way I look at it is I gave a message in the youth about worship and how to worship and why we do it. And when you come to a church service, there's really three main things that are going to happen. You're going to start with the worship, there's going to be a message, and then there's going to possibly be an altar call. And the way I look at it is the worship is the only part of the church service where you're going to be able to participate and be able to show God really how much you love Him and how deeply you want to be involved and how you want to know more about Him. It's just it's a free expression of how you feel about God.
Yeah, and we give people a lot of freedom, you know, to express themselves however they feel comfortable and however they want to, and I think that's really an important part of it.
I think it's a good thing. You know, it's not a crazy thing where it's out of control or anything like that, but it's an opportunity for God to stir your spirit.
One of the things I love about music is that it's contagious and it's inspiring. You know, if you've ever watched a child, you know, they learn music really early on in life, and they start moving to the rhythm and the music, and it really takes over in their life. And so, you know, it's powerful and it's inspiring. So, Ivan, how do we try to inspire and motivate people through music here at Bridgewood?
Well, I think one of the ways we do is we try to play relevant music that's engaging, that's really inviting people into touching God. And you know, we really as a worship team, there's nothing that fills our hearts like being able to look out in the crowd and seeing the congregation just totally lost in His love, not paying attention to what we're doing or how we're doing it, but just totally engaged.
It's awesome.
You know, whether it's clapping hands, whether it's just being broken down and kneeling on the ground, just totally overwhelmed with God's love. You know, it's totally up to each individual, and we welcome any way there.
Yeah, you know, I remember kind of walking into a worship, you know, experience and seeing all kinds of people have their hands lifted up, you know, and at first, you know, it kind of took me back, and I was wondering why people, you know, were lifting their hands. And Tom, I know that, you know, it's not uncommon at all for people in our worship experience, you know, to have their hands up in there. Why do people do that?
Well, it's a release. It's a total surrender. I know when I lift my hands, I'm saying, God, here I am. I'm holding on to nothing, and I'm willing for you to fill me full of whatever you want to speak to me with on that day. And it just helps me release. And then I'm singing the words to these songs, and these words penetrate deep into my spirit, and God just relates with me through those words of the song, and wonderful things happen.
Yeah, that's what's really neat about our weekend services, is that no two services are alike.
Yeah.
And that there's always something unique about that day, and that's why I think it's really important for people to be here live in the experience rather than, you know, having to listen back to it, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You never know how God's going to move,
That's
and
true.
I think that's really neat. Yeah. Lisa, I know one of the things that we did on our website that was really cool was, you know, to put some of the newer music on the website so people can listen to it, you know, through the week. How do they get to that?
Well, really, it's just as simple as going to our website and then clicking on the tab after Sunday's over. And then when you get to that, you'll scroll down and you will find a song that's been listed. It's probably connected to a YouTube link, and it will probably be something that we are going to do in the future. So we're kind of prepping our people earlier, or it's something we're doing now. And we just want them to be able to get used to it. Kind of like Anthony said, for us, we saturate ourselves in this stuff all the time. I tell the team in a joking way, it's like marinating your spirit in the song. And so we want you guys to have that chance to be able to marinate your spirits, your souls in the music, get to know the words, so that when you come, there will just be that automatic freedom to be able to engage in the song.
So I can only imagine that in a weekend service at Bridgewood, that, you know, there's a lot of people that probably play an instrument, sing, have musical ability, and they might be wondering to themselves, how do I get involved at Bridgewood Church? So Lisa, maybe you can just take a moment and talk through, how does a person get connected to music at Bridgewood?
Okay. The process is really easy. It's a matter of an audition, and so you will take volunteer orientation, which is a class that we have for all of our volunteer positions anywhere at Bridgewood. And then after that, you'll ask for the application, schedule an audition, and we'll see what goes from there.
Yeah, and I'd like people not to be intimidated either. I mean, we need people. You might see musicians on the stage and say, well, they don't need any more guitar players, or they already have a drummer, but that's not the case at all. We'd love to have more people involved, and we can switch off on instruments and maybe give some people a break every now and then.
So as you can see, music is a big deal, and it plays a big part in our relationship with God, our weekend services here at Bridgewood. And I just want to say thanks to you guys, because I know that you guys do a great job. You work really, really hard behind the scenes and throughout the week, and it makes our weekends everything that they become. And I really thank you guys for being a part of it. And I know that if you're coming to Bridgewood and this is a new experience for you, I just want to challenge you to get involved. I just want to challenge you to kind of break out of the mold and the tradition of the past and get excited about what God is doing, and just expect something to happen, and just kind of just jump in and get involved and be a part of it. It will change your life. And I know that it's doing that, you know, every weekend, and we're hearing a lot of really cool things happening during our worship experience. So again, thanks so much, and that wraps up our live feed here. And if you're interested in knowing more about Bridgewood Church, we want you to, again, come and check us out and experience what we experience every weekend here at Bridgewood. So thanks for being with us today.